where do I go with um, my feelings for him and that we can't be together and that I miss him. I sincerely enjoy his company for sure. He's great. We have a fucking laugh. So, I miss him. I'm never gonna meet anybody again that I care for and love the way I feel about him. I'm lonely. So all of those things are in there, and seeing
Mm-hmm.
him at work or just knowing he's there it hurts.
Yeah.
It just hurts. What do I do with that? What do I do with missing him?
Yeah. Well, I would, I would question. It's like for me, missing has a lot to do with just loving. You know, I love someone. I miss them as a kind of way of saying that. But the painful part comes in is when I want something from him,
Right.
and so it's like I would question all the wants of him, and then as I let go of those wants, then I'm just left with the love that I
How do I
naturally
let
have
go of
for
the
him.
wants?
So what? Give me something you want from him. I think we've seen some of them. Give me one that you want to work on.
I want
You want him to
him.
come back.
I want him to come back.
Yeah. Okay. So is that true?
Like off the top of my head, yeah, I want him to come back. I want him to come back. I want him to look at me the way he used to look at me. I want him to love me again.
Yeah. That's it.
I hate it.
So all right. So can you absolutely know it's true? You want him to come back?
Can I absolutely know it's true that I want him to come back? Well, like, yes and no.
Gets a little
Because,
more unclear, doesn't it? You know, when you think
yeah,
about it. Like yes and no.
because I know it's not all butterflies and fucking love hearts.
Isn't it amazing what we do? Like our mind just totally creates this fantasy world,
Yeah.
like where it is butterflies and fairy tales,
Oh, yeah, yeah, exactly.
and then reality is something different.
Completely different, yeah.
And then we wonder
Why
why we're
hasn't he answered my
uh
text?
huh,
And
uh huh.
and he's going here and he's going there and he's gonna go do that and blah 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 and yeah, and then all my trust issues and everything comes up and it's like so I don't know.
And we wonder why we're disappointed. You know, it's like
Yeah, really.
when we create that fantasy story. So, so let's go back to this. You want him to come back. How do you react when you think this? You
I
start
just feel
missing him.
so lonely. I'm lonely. I feel scared that I'll never meet anyone. I'm empty. I'm rejected. I'm lonely. I'm sad. I'm like nobody wants me. Well, I don't want anybody that wants me, and I'm never gonna be happy again.
Yeah.
It's over. It's over for me. He's the one, and he doesn't want to be with me. So it's like, well, I might as well pack it in because I'm done.
Yeah. It's like life over. Check. You know.
Oh, fuck
Yep.
yeah. It's
Totally.
done. That was my chance, and it's over. So, what's the point?
Totally get that. So, who would you be if you didn't think you wanted him to come back?
Who would I be if I didn't think I wanted him to come back? Yeah, I know. I have no fucking clue. That's where I. That's where I'm in that cavern again.
That's
Hello,
fine. That's fine. So, if I didn't think I wanted
him to come
him to
back.
come back, what would it be like? What, like, imagine
I wish I
um,
met him.
imagine you like saw him, like, yeah, something happened like with the telephone thing, you know, like you just ran into him at work or got exposed to him somehow,
Yeah, which
eh,
is easy enough for
which is
sure.
easy, right? So and imagine that like when you did, you didn't you just didn't weren't thinking, oh yeah, I want him to come back. Like you weren't going, you weren't even thinking my life's gonna be better if he comes back. What would
Right.
what would it be like when you saw him? What would it be?
Mm, I know I see it, but it's like I can't even imagine not feeling that when I see him.
Did you ever know him before you fell in love with him?
The first time I saw him, the first time I laid eyes on him, I was like, "Oh my God, who's that? I want that on a stick."
Okay. So
That's
for
what I
you,
said. And then within a couple days, I emailed him, uh, and because I had was working the front desk, and I still remember that time when I first saw him, and he was in a relationship with somebody, and we became friends, and that was it. We were just friends, but I always was attracted to him. I just never thought it would ever be reciprocated, ever, 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 ever.
yeah.
Didn't think it for 1 second.
So that's a good reference. What was that like when you weren't thinking that it would ever be reciprocated? Like, did you have a decent relationship with him? Or was it, what was it like?
Yeah, but my motives were always kind of flirtatious. I was always a bit of a flirt that way. I was always, but I'm like that pretty much with every guy. You know, I really am. I'm like, I need you to like me. I don't like you, but you have to be attracted to me.
Uh-huh, yep, I
You know what
know
I
the
mean?
story. Yes, totally,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm fucking nuts.
But
Um,
that is a good reference. Like, okay, so like before he actually showed signs of actually liking you or possibly getting into a
but
relationship with you, then,
yeah, I
you,
liked him. We were friends. It was fine. Like I didn't pine for him. I didn't. It
yeah,
wasn't until I fell in love with him. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I liked him. I thought he was fucking hot.
yeah,
He was a good, nice person. We had laughs. We joked around. It was fine. It was fun.
yeah. It's sort of like when you go to the movies and you see someone who's just, the on the screen just like so hot, so awesome,
Right.
and just like, dude, that.
Yeah.
But but you know that you're never gonna have anything with them, right?
Right.
So you're just
Yeah.
like, okay, cool. So you just enjoy the fact that you're 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 enjoying a hot person on screen,
Right.
Like, okay, cool. So like,
But I did have him.
and you
So
did,
what if
yeah.
you did have that person and then you lost that person?
So
That's a
this is the
fuck.
challenge. This is your challenge.
Okay.
It's like, okay, you have a reference for what it was like before you
Okay.
had him, and it was just like, cool. Okay, here's a hot guy that I'm kind of flirting with, and it probably never go anywhere.
Right.
Doesn't mean and yeah, I'd love it, but it isn't. I'm just
It
kind
ain't
of
gonna happen.
realistic, right? And then
Right.
you had it, and then now you don't have it. So the problem is now you're comparing it to when you had it, and so you
Right.
can't just like be cool with it the way it was before.
Right.
So what the challenge is can you can you put yourself back in that place where you were before, where it's like, okay, I know I can't have it, so let me just love it for what it is. Let me just see him as a hot guy that I like a lot, and
Right.
be open to just
Can
however
I,
that goes.
no,
Without the.
I can't do that.
I know. So that's.
I can't. I can't. How can I fucking do that? What are you, crazy? I don't know how to do
And I'm not saying you can. I'm just saying, like, for me, that would be the answer to the question, like, who would I be without the thought that I want him to come back? It might look something like that.
that. Hmm.
It might look like, okay, it might look like, all right, the dude isn't mine, but I totally am still attracted to him.
Right.
And then it's like, honest, yeah, I'm attracted, and I'm in reality, he's not mine.
Right. But that hurts. I'm mad about that.
Yeah. So there can be some other um yeah, it's because you still do want him to come back. So this is like
Right.
hypothetical if you didn't even want him to come back at all. Like, just imagine you just
Well,
didn't.
how can I get there? I want to not want him to come back. I want to get over him. I want to see him and not have any feelings for him.
I see that. Yeah, I totally see
So
that.
how do I do that?
So this is the process, but let's just this part is actually question 4 is actually purely hypothetical. So you don't
Okay.
have to like get into it emotionally completely. Just like it's
Okay.
hypothetical.
Okay.
If you did not have that thought, if you did not believe that if you just did not want him to come back, like if you were that in that place already,
Right.
how would that be? Like how would that?
I just want to write that down so I can focus on that. Hang on. If I didn't want him to come back,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I see. Because if I can find that place, I may be able to create it. But I didn't want him to come back. Okay,
And
so
the
if I
cool thing
did,
about this question is it is purely hypothetical. It's like you don't
right.
have to. You can have that thought back as soon as we're done with this question. Like it's yours.
I don't want this suffering anymore, though. I don't want this. This is insanity.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for so long. It's like, will you get over this fucking guy? Like, what? I gotta know every other fucker I've ever been with. So what is it with him? What is it about him? Why can't I get past this? There's something there. There
Right.
has to be, because I've gotten over everybody.
So here, this is like they save the biggest challenge for last. Like this is the one that this is your path right now.
Yeah.
So okay, so going back to that question, like hypothetically, if you didn't want him to come back at all, like if you just didn't, you were in that place already, just imagine what would it be like if you
Yeah.
didn't want him to come back.
I'm just writing that down too. What would it be like? I still think it's connected to that. You left me. Come back so I can leave you.
And you're
I don't.
probably very right, yeah.
I.
So,
I.
but
Yeah.
without going into understanding
Yeah. I
it,
know.
just go
Okay.
to like, okay, like what would it be like? Like if
What
you
would it
didn't,
be like if I
if you
didn't
were
want
already in
to?
that place, of where you actually didn't want him to come
Oh,
back.
fuck! It would be great. I'd
Yeah.
be free. I could see him and not have any emotions connected to him, and not have this whole story built around him. He'd just be another person in my life. I'm friends with my exes. I am fine with them being just my friend. You know, I
That's what it would
have
be
to get
like.
to that place with him because he is going to move on, and he is going to meet someone, and he is going to have kids probably. And I don't want to die then. I want to be okay with it.
Yeah. So you just saw what it's like. You've had this experience with your other exes. So it's like doesn't mean you're there.
No, yeah.
It's just like this is what it would be like if you weren't attached to this thought. So this is where the mind can just kind of compare and contrast. Like if I was not in that kind of space, it would be awesome. I'd just be free, see him without the emotions, and
Fuck up you. I'd be in heaven. I'd be happy again. I'd be
totally,
able to get on with my life.
exactly.
I have put my life on hold, and so, I'm doing my art, but everything else is just him. I wake up thinking about him. I go to bed thinking about him. I cry. I cry all the time. I'm always crying over him.
So notice the difference between that's how you are with the thought. It's like
Right.
crying all the time and thinking of him all the
Misery.
time, miserable, just ugh. And
Want to
then
kill him or kill myself. Like I don't really want to
exactly.
kill myself, but I
But
think
that's the
it. I go like,
feeling,
I
yeah.
have to get out of this pain. I have to kill myself.
Exactly.
You know. Yeah,
Exactly.
and the other side is, wow, it'd be so nice to just see him and be like, dude, what's up, my nigga? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just be like totally cool with it,
Yeah.
like I am with everybody else.
Yeah.
That would be fucking heaven on earth. And then it would be back to me. I would be me again.
Exactly. So let's turn this
So
thought around. You want him to come back. How would you turn it around?
I don't want him to come back.
Okay, so let's think about that. What do you
I
find?
do you think the answer lies in, I know it's not the one answer, but do you think that the freedom to this breakthrough lies in finding that place? Like, do you think that in your experience with doing the work, do you think that if I really, quietly sit and find that place within me that exists, that that's the key? Do you know what I'm
I
asking?
do. Well,
Yeah.
the fact that you're even asking tells me that for you it could be exactly the key, because you just had a little glimpse of that.
Right,
Like if I was like, I'm not saying I'm there yet, but like if
right.
I was in that place, it would be pretty damn awesome.
Oh, it'd be
It'd just be like
amazing.
that's myself again. I'm ready to get on with my life. I'm ready to I can see him without being
with
you know,
having the attachment and the story that he's my knight. He's
exactly,
gonna save my life. He's gonna make me happy. If I
exactly.
could drop that bullshit, because I know it's bullshit.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
So that's for me, like, yes, you can sit in that. You can sit in that question longer if you want and just
Oh,
contemplate it. Like, compare, contrast what it's like to live all just totally, you know, needing him and wanting him to come back versus, like, if you didn't need that, like, how cool that would be. Like,
yeah,
just you can play with that. You can just sit in that until you just see where you go with that.
yeah, yeah.
So let's go to the turnaround then. So you don't want him to come back as one turnaround.
Right.
What's an example of that? Like, how could that be as true?
That I want him to come back. I don't want him to come back. What am I looking for? To
Look
look.
for a concrete, genuine kind of example of like why you don't want him to come back. I think we said one was the age difference.
Because I'm not myself. I'm not myself when I'm with him. I'm really not myself.
Wow, tell me about that.
I'm always trying to impress him, or I sit with him and watch, oh God, Star Wars cartoons or something. It's just like I don't fucking like Star Wars, or I watch these movies that he likes. I'm just like, oh my God, and our interests and everything, and because I don't know, we're just not right for each other, I guess. I don't know.
Well, the I guess part is where it gets kind of murky, So it's just
Right.
like keep it
Like, I
real
know
concrete.
I'm getting lost in the thought process.
Yeah, yeah. So like, so you said, concrete. You don't want him to come back, then you end up not doing things that you want to do. You try to please him. You want to be. You do things like watch stuff you don't want to watch, movies you don't want to watch. Give me something else concrete. It can be small like that. Why is it
Yeah,
that what is it you don't like about him? The idea of him coming back.
because he's very health conscious,
Hmm.
and doesn't drink. I feel like I can't drink milk or fucking eat a bowl of honeycombs or stuff I like doing. Like, it's like I care about my health, but not to the same degree. So I become like more interested in health than I really am.
Yep.
He works out like crazy. I work out too, but with him, again, it's like I'm never gonna look 25 again, no matter how much I work out, unless I do it 8 hours a day, which I ain't gonna. So again, it's like I forfeit my who I really am
Yes.
in order to accommodate him. Yeah, I like working out, but I'm not a gym rat like he is, and I'm not. That doesn't interest me, the same way. What interests me is my drawings and my paintings, and I don't know. It's just,
Yeah.
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 I'm not. I'm trying to be someone I'm not when I'm with him. I'm trying to be someone I'm not.
Yes.
I'm, and sometimes it's like it would be nice if I could be that person. It seems like a great person to be, but it's really not who I am.
Right. It's
know?
kind of like him, like trying to be someone who is cool with not having kids, but it's really not who he is. He's like, he's got to have the kids, It's like
Right.
you gotta
Yeah.
do you gotta
Yeah.
live your life. So,
Yeah. That's
like,
true.
I don't want him to come back. That's the turnaround. When you think about it, everything you were just saying there points to um, your your life without him right now is actually you don't have to drink milk. I mean, you don't have to not drink milk. You don't
Yeah.
have to go to the gym more than you
And use
wanna. You don't have to
right flour.
watch Star
Yeah.
Wars cartoons, and like there's some perks here.
Yeah, there are. There are. He's a sweetheart, but it's just like, I saw a picture of him on his Facebook, and he was dressed up for Halloween, and I was just like, good for you, hon. That's cute.
Right.
Not, no, I don't, no,
It's
that's not
not your
me.
thing.
No.
Yeah. So it's like those little those little differences, you know, when you see them objectively, they can really help because it's like, oh, you know what, that really, that's not the way I want to live, you know, like, and you
Right.
start to see it in perspective because it kind of balances out the fairy tale story that we tell each other, you know, tell ourselves. Be like,
You see,
okay,
yeah, when you
back
get
down
out of
to,
the fairy tale and you get real and you say, wait a minute, I have this person on a pedestal and they're the be all and the end all. And it's like, but they're really not. They're just another person. And in reality, it's like, he
yeah,
doesn't have much to say and we don't talk. I like to have really deep, meaningful, philosophical discussions, with people. We did when we were first together, but maybe that was a part of him he was putting on as well to impress me, like we all do when we're first
when we're
with someone.
first, yeah, exactly,
Yeah,
makes a lot of sense.
you know.
So yeah, that's another place where you can just continue to sit in this and just look at like what are the different ways where it's like you actually don't want them to come back. Like there are a lot of advantages here to you not being in that relationship with him, you know? And so
Yeah,
just count them, find them. You know, they can keep on popping in your head as you're going through your day and you know, you might find one when you're cooking dinner or when you're taking a shower or whatever. But
yeah,
there are
no,
advantages. You don't want him not coming back, and it's good to be aware of them because that literally balances the fairy tale.
for sure.
Okay, so there's another turnaround. Oh, sorry, you're gonna say?
No, that's good because
Okay.
it's true. It's like get off the pedestal.
Yeah, because it's painful. It's like when I put him on when I've got that story going and then I can't have him, it's total pain. There's
Yeah,
nothing but pain. You can't not feel pain. But like when you see it the other side of it, like, oh, okay, he's not perfect, and here's the ways where I'm like actually better off.
then yeah.
Then
Hang
it's
on. Are
like,
you knocking on my door? No. Yeah, because the other thing is part of it is a physical thing. It's like he's 32. He's got his shoulders are he's really fucking hot. He looks like Dwayne Johnson or whatever. He looks like The Rock.
hmm,
He's gorgeous. And I think that that's a lot of it. It's like if I have you, that validates that I'm attractive. If someone as hot as you wants me, wow, I must be fucking hot too. So there's that whole thing of validation in there that's not necessarily sincere love, as opposed
hmm,
to I want you because you validate my worth, because you're
right.
so good looking.
So it's like I don't want him to come back. You could use that as a turnaround, as an example of the turnaround too. I don't want him to come back because I don't want to just be using him to validate my worth, right? I mean, you don't
Yes,
want it. That's not what you
yes, I
really
do.
want.
Do want to do that. No, I hear what you're saying,
You know
but
what I'm
yeah,
saying? Yeah.
because it's not real. Like, but
Yeah.
I believe that's in there. Like, I haven't really tapped into that, but I know it's there. It's like, how can you not feel great? It's like, look at me, look what I got. I must fucking rock, you
And you
know?
know that's a double-edged sword too, because it's like when I'm with someone it's that hot, I can start to feel a little self-conscious too. Be like,
Yeah,
shit, man, I'm not really that hot. He must really
yeah.
not actually like me. You know, it must be.
Or I see people would go, I'm like, I wonder if they think I'm his mom. Like,
Yeah,
or why
yeah.
is is that his parole officer? Like, it's just like, yeah, all these crazy thoughts of not stuff I wouldn't think otherwise with certain men that I've been with. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So,
That's worth examining for sure.
yeah,
His,
you might just
well,
do like you could question the thought he validates my worth, you know? That would be really
yeah,
interesting to see where that goes, especially when it gets to he doesn't validate my worth. You know, and he might actually make me look worse because like you you you
yeah.
know
What's
by
he?
comparison you might look older next to him than you would with
Yeah,
someone your own age or something. Who
yeah.
knows?
And and it's funny because he would never make me feel like that at all. He was always like, "Wow, guys are always looking at you. Guys are always checking you out. You're so hot. I don't think you're too old. You don't look old." It was always It was always me. It was always me saying that
Right.
because yeah, because of how I felt around him.
Exactly. So like here's another example you just gave it. Like I don't want him to come back because I feel that way around him. You
Yeah,
know?
I feel
I feel like I
unattacked.
feel old around him.
Yeah. Whereas I'm not going to feel old around a 50-year-old.
No,
Another
you're gonna be
50
like,
years, so, yeah.
yeah, we both have wrinkles. Big whoop, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So really interesting. Like he validates my worth is really not even true here because it's like he actually is making me feel
Feel
younger, feel
worse.
older, and feel like gross. You know, feel like
Yeah, because I'm in this frantic, do my facial exercise, go to the gym, you know what I mean? Just everything because it's like can't age, can't age, can't age,
yes,
and it's like, no, you're gonna age, everybody ages. But
yes.
I'm just like, yeah, well, I can't
Because I've got a guy who's
because I
18
gotta,
years older than me, younger than me, and I've got to keep him. Got to hold on to him. Yeah.
yeah, like what stress,
What
man.
stress? Yeah.
Wow.
So I don't want him to come back. Don't have to deal with any of that stress. That whole age thing is no longer prying at you. So another turnaround. I want him to come back. How else would you turn that around? Put yourself on all of it.
Like I want me to come back.
Yeah.
I want to focus on me again. I want my life to be about me again, not about him.
It's like you said in question number 4. Who would you be without the thoughts? Like, get on with my life. It's like
Yeah.
like you got things you like to do. You're into art. You're into
Yeah.
all. You've got a life, or other guys. Who knows? It's like,
Wish I
and we
could be.
didn't
Yeah.
get time to jump into that, but that would be like
Yeah.
that's another one that is worth looking at for sure. I'm never gonna meet anyone again like him.
Yeah.
Oh really? Is that true?
I know. It's that gold, it feels true. And it's like, yeah, but so
Are
what?
are you sure?
Well,
Yeah, exactly.